Ooh, that looks tasty. Hungry Gamer is back with another crowdfunding preview. Today we're talking about Potions of Azerland, designed by Gray Baker, with art by Andrew Bosley, and published by Warped Reality Games. And before I get started, please make sure you turn on Klingon subtitles, because if I make any mistakes in this rules overview, that's where you'll find the corrections. And additionally, please note that this is a prototype, which I will be sending on to someone else, and all of the components are subject to change, and many of them are just placeholders or lower quality than you can expect to see in the final product. Now, what this game is this is a recipe fulfillment style game in which you are trying to create the best potions in order to satisfy the visiting customers over the course of 6 different rounds, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. And you're going to do this through a action selection priority bidding mechanic with a little bit of a tableau and some dice chucking for good measure. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played and just want to jump ahead to my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. As I said, you're going to play the game in 6 rounds. And each round, you are going to follow the same order of operations. The first thing you're going to do is new visitors will come into the town, which means at the end of a turn, you can already see the visitors that will be joining later on, and you would bring them into the town, which is right here, and you can now fulfill their requests. Then, after that, you will bid on the various actions, and the actions that you're able to bid on are foraging, which is how you get resources to make your potions, studying, which is how you make your potions stronger, market, which is buying stuff, brewing, which is making potions, and fulfilling, which is making these people happy by giving them the potions that they want. And the way you're going to do that is you are going to use these tiles right here, which are priority tiles. So you're going to decide which one of these things you want to do the most, or if you want to do it at all. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your tiles and you are going to put them into the board based on how much you want to do it. So for example, let's say I really want to go foraging. So I'm going to set that as my number 2 priority. And I also have a good interest in studying. So I'm going to, actually I really want to study, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that right here. And I'm actually not interested in buying anything this round, so I'm going to take my number 5, I'm going to turn it around this way and put it in. You'll see that I'll just have money there, so I'm going to collect money instead. And I really want to brew, so I'll put my 3 there, and then fulfill, I will put my 4 there. Then all the players will place their things face down to note that they are done and ready to go, and then you have the opportunity to drink potions, because not only do the customers want potions, but your potions also have various powers that you can unlock. And depending on how strong your potion is, and you can see we start up here at the top and you can move down, depending on how strong your potion is, you have different powers available. If you drink a basic speed potion, you will bring this over here, which unlocks that power. I'm not going to go into the powers, but you would unlock that for the rest of the game, and you'd get 2 coins. A basic love potion, you unlock this power, and you get 2 apprentices. And a basic intelligence potion, you unlock this power, and you would get 2 resources of your choice. But as you study, which is down here, you'll be increasing these powers until you eventually will have multiple options. So now if I were to drink a love potion, I could choose, do I want the basic one and get 2 apprentices, or do I want this one down here and get some gold? And hopefully you understand how that works. And while we're here, I will also talk about that study action that I mentioned. As you are doing the study action, you will be moving up these tracks here, which will let you do some extra foraging and increase those powers. And how far you're able to move is based on if you have the highest priority for choosing that action or a lower priority. And that'll make sense in just a moment. Just understand that for each step that you have when you do a forage, you're going to be able to move one of these 3 potion tokens up 1 space on this track here. Now, once everyone's decided they're going to drink their potions, then we would flip these over and we would compare. And then we're going to compare. We're going to go from left to right. So we start with the forage. Well, purple has a Then we'll compare. But before we do that, the first thing is anyone who has put money will then get paid out. So purple immediately will get 1 coin, while black would immediately get 3 coins, 2 for there and 1 for there. Then we would compare. 2 is a higher priority than the 4. And so what this is going to mean is for the forage, the study, and the brew, you're going to get a certain number of actions. And we'll compare it right here. Pretending we're playing a 2-player game, whoever has the highest priority will get to take the action 4 times, while the lower priority will get 2 times. If we were playing in a 4-person game, the highest priority would get 4 actions, the middle 2 would get 3 actions, and the lowest would get 2 actions. So back to this here, purple would then get to roll 4 of these dice, and whatever they roll, that is the resource that they would claim. So in this case, they would claim 2 sap, a flower, and a mushroom, and then the black player would get to roll 2 dice, and they would claim 2 sap. Then we would go to the study, and in this case, the purple player would get to move up 4 different spaces on that track that I showed you earlier, dividing up however they want, and black doesn't do it at all. Then we go to the market, and in the market, the black player would get to go first and buy as much as they wanted. And over here, these are the market cards. And what you'll see is down on the bottom, there's the cost, and the top is what you get. So we will just pretend that for the 3 coins that black has, they're going to get 1 sap and 2 mushrooms. Then those would be discarded, and they would not refill until the end of the round. And purple did not make any purchases, but if there was a 3rd player and they made purchases, then they would have the opportunity to buy from the leftovers. Then we would go to the brew, and both players have a chance to brew their potions. And whoever has the highest priority can brew 4 different potions, while the lower priority, 2 potions. Now you'll see that we have a tie. And so what happens here is each player at the beginning of the game is given a cauldron. And whoever has the lower number has the tiebreaker. So, pretending purple has this, they would get to brew 4 times, while black would get to brew 2, and then they would simply switch, so next time the black player would have the priority. And this is similar to Nidavellir if you're familiar with that game and how the tiebreakers are done there. Then we would move into the fulfill stage, which means that in this case, purple would get to go first and fulfill as many orders as they could with the potions that they have on hand or that they just brewed that turn. Now, I've mentioned apprentices a few times, and you can get these apprentices as you go through. And then for any action that you have gained a number of uses, for example, the study, where you might have 2 uses because you had the lowest priority, well, you can spend 1 apprentice, and for each apprentice you spend, you can increase that number by 2. So I may only have 2 studies, but if I spend 2 apprentices, I have 4 studies, just like I had the lowest priority in my tiles here. Then after that's done, all the actions have been taken. You'll reset the board by bringing new visitors. You put out new visitors that will be entering into town next turn, and then you would wipe the market and refresh it up to the number of cards you have based on your player count. And you'll go through this for 6 rounds, and at the end, whoever has the most points will win. I will also point out that every single one of the visitors has a different ability that you get when you gain them. They might be something that's just an instant bonus that you get, or it might be something you can use once per turn when you drink potions, or it might be in-game scoring. But that's pretty much how this game works. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing is, it's very pretty. I mean, it's Bosley's art, right? So it's always going to be pretty, but it's very pretty. It's very pleasant to look at. And yeah, that done is a real pretty game. I also enjoy the choices that you're making each round with the priority system. I really do enjoy that you're setting the priority for these 5 different things on your turn. It reminds me a bit of Nidavellir. But it's really fun because you're going to get to do all these things, but trying to figure out what the other players are doing so you can maximize what you're getting. How you're taking that risk of, okay, I'm going to put a 4 here because I don't think these other players are going to go for it. And then you wind up getting only 2 forage dice, or maybe it works out really well and somehow you win and you get 4 for it. Like, it's really a fun thought exercise trying to read the other players, which I think works fantastically well. I also really like the way that you can power up the potions, and they'll be worth more points, which is a good thing, but the best part of the game is drinking the potions. I love that you are playing this game, you're making these potions, you're going to be selling these potions, and that's how you're going to get points and win the game or you can drink them yourself and get some kind of benefit. And the fact that you can power that benefit up is just fantastic. It makes me want to play this game again and again because that is such a hard choice. Do I use the potions I have made and I've started with to not get any points in a very short game? It is a 6-round game because I want to have a benefit for the rest of the game. I'm going to use that. But of course, to use that potion, I've had to take all of these other actions, at least 2 other actions to get that potion. At least I had to have gone foraging, and then I have to do a brew action to be able to do that. Just fantastic. I think that is just wonderful, and it's what makes this game work for me, because at its core, this is a recipe fulfillment game. That's it. Here's your recipe to make the potions. These people want these potions. Do it. Done. But that is what makes this game, I think, a standout game for a entry-level game. I mean, this is a game that this is half a step up from Ticket to Ride. It's just not complicated. It's just very simple mechanics that you're using to do pretty much one thing. So all of that I really like about this game. So what are my quibbles with the game? Some of the players that I played with had a hard time with the board itself. They just had a hard time seeing some of the symbols that are there. They had a hard time seeing things and some of the contrast. They just struggled with it. And along with that, those that had a hard time with that aspect of the board also found that they were looking at the board and not the beautiful card art. Because to a person, and again, this is a small subset of the people I played with, but to a person, the people that thought the board was too busy looking, they were all disappointed that they weren't looking at the cards. Now, it's very easy for you to figure out if you are one of those people. Look at the picture of the board with the cards on. So, up for you to decide. But the card art is stunningly beautiful, and the rest of it's beautiful too, but just something to pay attention to. The next thing is, and I've already alluded to this is a very simple game. This is very simple. You're doing a little bit of tableau building, and you're doing resource gathering, contract fulfillment. That's really it. Yes, you have the priority thing that you have in there as well, but it's a very, very simple game. This is not a game with a ton of depth. This is not a game that you're going to be digging into the deeper strategies of it because it's just not. And along with that, there's also a good element of luck to it because you are doing dice chucking to gather those resources. Now, yes, you can go to the market and just buy things and just spend your forage action and get coins. Sure, you can do that, absolutely. But some people in Euro games really don't like dice. And yes, there's ways to mitigate it and so on, that you can trade things in and out. But you're doing this with dice, so there is that level of randomness to it, which may be frustrating for some players. And the only other thing I'm going to say is, and this is, again, a symptom of the fact that it's a very light game, is I wish there was just something more. Optional player powers. Whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe even an expansion with a 4th potion type or something. I don't know. Just something simple to be in that could just spice it up one more level. Now again, this is a very simple game. It's meant to be very light, so maybe that's not what they're going for. But for my tastes, I wish that was something that was there. It'd be a great stretch goal to add in there. But there you have it, folks. That is Potions of Azerland. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know in the comments with the timestamp so I can get that in the Klingon subtitles. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.